Mabuhay! Now, the Mitsubishi Montero Sport's been in the market for quite some time now. Over the past 2 years, most of its competitors have already received updates, upgrades, and even full model changes. So we're curious to find out that if the Montero Sport still has what it takes to keep up in a very crowded and competitive segment. So we decided to get our hands on one. This isn't just any Montero Sport variant. This is the Montero Sport Black Series Ralliart Edition. Let's see what it's all about. First and foremost, we have to talk about what makes this the Ralliart Edition. All of those things come in the form of aesthetic upgrades applied to the exterior. Since this is also based on the Black Series model, you get the blacked out grille here, and of course it sports the dynamic shield design motif that Mitsubishi is known for. But because again this is the Ralliart, you get this nice trim here with red accents and a small Ralliart badge over there. Of course, you get LED headlights and fog lights and DRLs. Over here at the side, you get blacked out 18-inch alloy wheels, and to add more of the Ralliart features, you get these black moldings over the wheel arches and these tastefully done decals, which I've grown to like over time. I mean, for some people, it's a hit or miss, but come on, it's a Ralliart. We need that there. Also, you get these red Ralliart mud flaps, which again, good job. And you also get chrome covers for the side mirrors, chrome door handles, and smart entry. Over here at the rear, you get the iconic LED Montero Sport designed taillights, a blacked out spoiler, and the lower bumper garnish carries over the same design as the one from the front. It's blacked out in the middle, and you have red garnishes here at the side with a small Ralliart badge in the middle. But last and certainly not the least, the Montero Sport Black Series Ralliart also comes with an automatic tailgate. So what do you get inside the Black Series Ralliart Montero Sport? So basically this is the top of the line two-wheel drive variant of the whole Montero range. So you get of course a lot of creature comfort. So let's first talk about the nice Supple Fragrant leather seats that you get in the Montero, which I think are one of the best in its class right now. I'll mention more in the driving part. Moving on, in front of me, the digital screen actually shows different settings and of course different information that the car needs to tell you, like fuel economy, speed, and whatnot. You can again customize what you want to see in front of you. So if you move it, you can change the screen. It will show you the different designs that you feel like you want to see in terms of the speed and whatnot. So that's the screen here. It's nice, but again, I'm the type of person that wishes that it was analog version. I call me old school, but I prefer analog gauges. One less thing to break, if you ask me, over time. So now the steering wheel, you have your controls for the screen here on the left side, and then over here at the right side you have the controls for the adaptive cruise, the 360 camera, and all of that. Down here on the lower left is the buttons for the screen, so change music, change the source, and right bottom side is the buttons for the phone, so your hands-free device, Bluetooth, and whatever. I've always liked the steering wheel of the Montero Sport. I like how chunky and soft the leather is. It's luxurious but sporty at the same time. Speaking of sporty, the paddle shifters here in the back are still the same usual Mitsubishi magnesium material paddle shift, so playing with them is nice. I do have to complain that the Montero is showing its age in terms of the fact that it doesn't have automatic headlights and it doesn't have automatic, as far as I can tell, automatic wipers. So I'm not kidding when I say that almost all the cars in its class have that feature already as standard. I'm not sure if the top of the line four-wheel drive has that, but such a shame that it doesn't have that here. So this is an 8-inch touchscreen unit that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto already, so that's good. The climate control system is a automatic climate control system that has dual zones, so the person here can have different temperature from the person here. You have a HDMI port, so if you want to connect anything that is, let's say, like a gaming console. If you really want to, you can probably display that here. You have two USB ports, socket. Sadly, there is no wireless charging yet. So your gear lever, space for maybe your keys or coins, your electronic parking brake, auto hold, and cup holders. I also have to mention that both these seats in front are powered, so adjustments can be done through the buttons here on the side. The second row, the most interesting thing there is that it has a real socket. So if you need to maybe work, if you're a passenger, you can plug your laptop there and work away. So overall, the Montero is nothing different from the normal Black Series edition inside. It's still familiar to Montero Sport owners and fans out there, and I guess they didn't really need to change anything because again, the Montero's always been a comfortable PPV in its segment, and it shows here why they didn't have to change anything at all. It's comfortable, it's luxurious enough, it has enough features, and I'm pretty sure that all the materials used in this interior are gonna last. So what is it like driving the Mitsubishi Montero Sport Black Series Ralliart Edition? Yes, you heard me right. It's a Black Series and a Ralliart at the same time. So it's a special edition of a special edition. Anyway, the first thing I need to point out is that even if it's a Ralliart, Mitsubishi didn't do anything in terms of performance. There's no special suspension or anything with the chassis to make it feel more Ralliart, or there's no performance enhancements in terms of the engine. It still makes the same 181 PS and 430 Newton meters of torque. It's still the same 2.5 liter turbocharged diesel engine, and it's still the same 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, even if Mitsubishi didn't do anything to change the performance, it's not like the Montero Sport needed any enhancements altogether. It still feels fast enough, it still feels solid, and I think I personally felt that the Montero Sport was actually the best driving PPV in its segment in terms of when you want to drive it off-road or if you're driving it on twisty roads. I felt like all of the things that the Montero was before made it the best driving one. That's my personal belief. I'm not sure if other people feel that way. But anyway, I want to point out also that what I like about the Montero Sport is that it feels narrow, even though it's not, obviously, because it's a 7-seater. It feels narrow in the city, so it doesn't feel like it's such a hassle to maneuver in terms of tight spaces or blind corners and things like that. And I like how the steering is actually very light in terms of moving it around. The one thing I have to comment though is that I'm surprised that the steering here is a little vague. I'm not sure if that was the case before. Maybe before, when it was new, it felt direct, but having driven all the other new competitors like the MUX and the Everest and all of those other more updated PPVs, those felt like they had better steering. I'm not saying that this has no feel whatsoever. I just wish that there was just a little more feel, like there's a little play before the car actually turns. Moving on, it's time to talk about safety. So essentially the Black Series is based on the two-wheel drive version, so it doesn't have all the top safety features. It does have enough though. So it has the forward collision mitigation, it has the misacceleration mitigation feature, which we all know why it's there, and I was surprised that it actually also has adaptive cruise control, which is something that they didn't have in the previous version. I think it's an update that they put in the Montero Sport recently, but nonetheless it's nice to know that they have it in this version, so it makes driving on the highway much easier. Moving on, in terms of fuel efficiency, this is where I think the Montero Sport falls short a little bit. Despite having an 8-speed, in the city, the best I was able to do was around 9 kilometers per liter, and on the highway, the best I could do on the highway, even if I'm not driving that fast, is around 12 to 13 kilometers per liter. I'm not sure why. Maybe I could be driving better, I'm not entirely sure, but I was surprised that those numbers aren't higher than I thought they were going to be. But they're still not bad. Because this is a diesel, it will still be frugal enough. You won't feel like it's drinking a lot of fuel. Next up, I'd like to point out that the seats are my favorite part of this car, because while you're driving, usually in a PPV, you normally feel the bumps and the ruts on the road, and they're more pronounced because you're riding taller and you're riding a stiffer vehicle. But I was surprised in the Montero because of the seats. It makes the riding experience so much better than most of its competitors. We already know ever since that the Monteros had better riding qualities compared to the other cars in its class, but it's more pronounced here because of the seats, I think, and that's a good job. So overall, riding and driving the Montero Sport, nothing drastically different. They didn't really do anything to change the paradigm of what makes a Montero Sport a good car, but yeah, not bad, not great, but good enough. It will do really well for anybody who just wants something familiar, straightforward, and comfortable. The Mitsubishi Montero Sport Black Series Ralliart Edition retails for 2,122,000 Philippine pesos, which is not exactly the most expensive, but also not the most affordable at the same time. But having gotten to know this vehicle all over again, I can say that when they launched this facelifted version back in 2019, they did a lot to make it last until now, 2022. It doesn't feel like it's left behind in terms of driving dynamics, and what I can say is the design has really stood the test of time. However, I did point out that there are some features that I wish this vehicle had just to make it worth that price a little bit more. But nonetheless, the Montero Sport still remains a pretty good and decent option for anybody who's looking for a 7-seat PPV in a crowded and competitive segment. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel below. And also, don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. This has been Pablo Salapantan of YugaAuto. Thank you for watching. Paalam!